Hello and welcome to Christian's Tea Time Classicals, short videos about individual aspects of classical music that last about as long as it takes to brew a nice cup of tea. In this episode, we'll discuss the first 13 bars of Charles Gounod's opera La Reine de Saba. The work met with little success at its Paris premiere in 1862. More than one critic disparagingly described Gounod as a musician of the future, who preferred systems of composition to the creation of melody. These were precisely the accusations that had been directed so vehemently at Wagner and his Tannhäuser less than a year earlier. Gounod was in fact among Wagner's supporters and attended the scandalous Paris production. In La Reine de Saba, this influence can be heard above all in the opera's ground conception, the more symphonic treatment of the orchestra and the intensified use of recurring motifs. On a more technical level, it also appears in Gounod's handling of dissonance and chromaticism. This becomes immediately apparent in the orchestral prelude called Introduction. A powerful brass signal on the note G, played in unison, is followed by a fortissimo orchestral outburst that unfolds the full triad of E-flat major before fading away in the high woodwinds. After a brief silence, Gounod repeats the pattern. Again, we hear the brass fanfare followed by a fortissimo orchestral entry, but this time it opens out unexpectedly into E minor. At first, the listener is left completely uncertain about the tonal context. Only a choral-like passage beginning in C major finally establishes G major as the key of the introduction. The harmonic ambiguity of the opening is matched by a striking compositional peculiarity. Both the E-flat major and the E minor sonorities appear in second inversion and function therefore, in traditional harmonic terms, as dissonances, even if modern ears may not perceive them as especially harsh. These isolated 6/4 chords are presented without conventional preparation or resolution. The quintessential 19th century opera of unresolved dissonance and chromaticism is, of course, Wagner's Tristan und Isolde. Gounod heard the Vorspiel in Paris in 1860, conducted by Wagner himself. To be clear from the outset, there is no evidence of a deliberate reference. Even so, the underlying structure is remarkably similar, despite the much simpler texture of Gounod's Introduction. In the Introduction, as in the Vorspiel, dissonances remain suspended in the air and achieve resolution only on the third attempt. Without any doubt, Gounod's comparatively traditional 6/4 chords stand in the shadow of Wagner's revolutionary Tristan chord. Yet they too acquire important formal and thematic significance as the piece unfolds. We do not have time to pursue this further or to examine the later use of dissonance and chromaticism, because your tea should be ready by now. Enjoy it and feel free to leave your comments while you sip. See you next time.